We've said it before, and if you want something done right, you call Donald Trump because he's the only one who can get things done in Canada. As he continues to stack tariff wins, allowing him to strengthen Social Security for U.S. citizens, the Canadian government is begging its pensioners to not take Social Security because we can't afford it. And these tariffs have allowed Donald Trump to put pressure on the Canadian government to clean up the border. This is all while we're seeing the amount of Canadians being arrested by ICE continue to increase. Canada has never been serious about its border until Donald Trump put the pressure on, and we're seeing that today because our foreign entrepreneur problem that we've always had in Canada has continued to get worse and deteriorated the relationship between Canada and US at the border. One of the stories today is so crazy, I thought it was fake. It's real. And at the end of this video, we have another serious news story that sounded fake that made me laugh out loud when I heard it. There is a lot to talk about in today's video, so let's get into it. A couple quick updates from Trump's announcement today, and this does relate to how he's able to organize at the border.
And yet our country's taking in tens of billions of dollars and trillions of dollars, actually trillions of dollars in tariffs. And you know all about it. It's been amazing. They say, why are we taking in so much money? Last week they found $29 billion and they couldn't figure out where it came from. I said, check the tariff shelf. And they said, how did you know that's where it came from?
And because of these surpluses, which are starting to build up, and don't get me wrong, the U.S. has a debt problem. It's something that needs to be addressed. They are working on it. Just saw an interview with Scott Bessent, and so far in his mind, these things are working, but that's why he can make these types of announcements.
Even dreamt possible. And it's the 90th anniversary right now of Social Security. So today we celebrate that 90th anniversary of one of the most significant pieces of legislation ever signed into law, the Social Security Act of 1935, and we're going to make it stronger, bigger and better, really doing a job. In the campaign, I made a secret pledge to our seniors that I would always protect Social Security, and under this administration, we're keeping that promise and strengthening Social Security for generations to come. You keep hearing stories that in 6 years, 7 years, Social Security will be gone, and it will be if the Democrats ever get involved because they don't know what they're doing.
I love that statement there. But okay, he's strengthening Social Security. He's talking about seniors are going to be protected. That's great to hear. Positive announcement. So what does Canada have to say about the pensions and the old age security?
Is it time to revamp Canada's old age security program? As baby boomers age, the cost of the federal government retirement pension is expected to soar from $77.8 billion in 2023 to a whopping $276.5 billion by 2060. That's more than triple. And Generation Squeeze, a charitable think and change tank, is urging the federal government to take action.
They're asking them to take action by asking Canadian pensioners to not take their pension. Hey, look, guys, if you can afford it, don't take your pension. I know you've paid into it for your entire working career, but we as the government have messed up so bad. Canada has no industry. We have no way to actually generate any level of income as the government anymore because we have driven away all of the private investment. Can you please, please, please not take your pension? We can't afford it. And that's why Trump's able to make announcements like this.
Remember when Joe Biden used to always go, I need legislation. I had no legislation. I just said we're closing the borders, and the whole world understood it because they respect your country again. They really respect this country again. They didn't respect it. When he said it, it didn't mean anything. But now they know it meant a lot. And Mexico does what we tell them to do, and Canada does what we tell them to do, because we have the two borders. We have the northern border, the southern border, and they were both horrible.
They were and are, because we are going to get into that today, and we are seeing Canada and Mexico are listening to Donald Trump. Trump just had a bunch of criminals extradited to him from Mexico, so they're obviously starting to listen down there. But the Canadian government has been ignoring all of the problems this entire time. And again, the only reason we're seeing these security issues getting addressed is because of Donald Trump, because Canada removes hurdles to join the Golden Dome. Canada has also reportedly cleared a path to partner with the Trump administration for the Golden Dome. The Ottawa Citizen reported that Canada's Defense Minister David McGuinty said that the outdated restrictions, roadblocks have been removed during a July visit to the North American Aerospace Defense Command's headquarters in Colorado. The threat environment has drastically changed and Canada needs to be prepared. I promise you that never would have been said without Donald Trump. That is a 100% Donald Trump influenced decision, just like this one. Trump's tariffs are forcing Canada to address its money laundering problem. On July 31st, Trump administration announced that it would raise tariffs on Canadian imports to 35%, citing Canada's failure to meaningfully address the growing use of its territory by let's just say fun-time powder traffickers. Federal officials called for renewed dialogue while Ontario Premier Doug Ford demanded retaliatory tariffs. So we have this story that just came out, some hilarious Canadian propaganda. Nearly 150 Canadians held in ICE custody this year, including 2 toddlers, data show. And they go on to say like, oh, these poor Canadians, they were held in ICE possibly for longer than ICE. ICE has these rules where they're not allowed to hold people for more than 20 days. And this Canadian was held for 21 days. And there was just all these poor people captured by ICE, till you get to the bottom of the article where they say over 70% of the people detained and caught by ICE have criminal histories, so they're arresting criminals who just so happen to also have Canadian citizenship in the US and deporting them, which is what we want and absolutely need in Canada. But because Donald Trump and ICE are doing it, it's bad because these poor innocent Canadians, only 70% of them are criminals. The other 30%, it turns out, are on full immigration violations, basically have been staying there fully illegally and just, again, also so happen to be foreign nationals with Canadian citizenship. So to see them title it nearly 150 Canadians is so funny when a lot of them are foreign nationals that just so happen to also get their Canadian citizenship, which doesn't mean anything these days according to the Canadian government. Every single person in the whole entire world is Canadian, and that's why we have Ottawa pressed to factor in 500,000 undocumented residents as it consults on immigration targets. So they're now wanting to open pathways to accept that it's normal that people are just staying over their visa times. They're staying in Canada illegally. They're coming to Canada illegally, and we should factor that in all of our decisions now instead of just kicking them out. Listen, in one sense, I do agree because they're saying, hey, we should limit some of the numbers if we're going to have all these undocumented people. Or we limit the numbers and get rid of the undocumented people. So I like the idea, just maybe not the execution. But we are about to get into the insane story that I thought was fake. I cannot believe it's real, but it shows Canada doesn't care about who comes into our border. And that's why when I get to all of the criminal stuff later on, maybe it's not going to be as surprising when you see the tone that was set. Have you liked the video yet? We're trying to get these videos out in front of more people. We are trying to grow the channel. If you like what we talk about here, feel free to subscribe. Love to have you on board. Let's get back to it. Wine, candy, and room service. How Ottawa spent $170,000 on Canadian political enthusiast women. Let's just say that. Political enthusiast women. Very important because federal officials spent $170,000 bringing Canadian, first of all, we got to stop calling them Canadian, political enthusiast women home from Syria, according to internal government documents that show expenses for ice cream, candy, and wine. The money was for costs incurred when 8 women who had traveled to the Middle East to join the political enthusiast state returned to Canada with their children in 2022 and 2023. And the reason why this is just coming out now is because we just got the documents. Here's the insane thing. They go and they break down all of the costs on what it costs to bring these people home. This did not include any of the costs on the actual response to get there. So it's more likely that this number is well over 200,000, and that's to bring back criminals who went to meet and support this group. So the Canadian government brought back these people who support this group at the expense of taxpayers, not only our safety, but also hundreds of thousands of dollars. And that's exactly how we know Canada was not serious about their border security. That's why a friend of the channel, his name is Gavin Barry, he put out this video. I exposed an illegal human smuggling operation. So you can see the foreign entrepreneur that we have there. We'll play the first couple seconds for you.
I just take it from here to drop over the border. That's it.
And we go Vermont or we go to New York?
New York.
That's me meeting up with a criminal who thinks he's about to illegally smuggle me across the border into the United States.
So here's my problem with this. The government recognizes that foreign entrepreneur as a Canadian. He gets marked down as a Canadian statistic, especially when it comes to dealing with the US, and our relationship with the US-Canada border is falling apart. And the mainstream media never talks about it. I will show you how it is so much worse than you could possibly imagine. 2 men convicted after immigrants froze to death at Canada-US border face sentencing. So this is a separate smuggling group. Here's this family here. Notice they're from a certain country, a certain background. Let's see who the culprits were. We've got Harsh Kumar Patel and Steve Shand. Couple strong Canadians there who were trying to bring these people illegally into the US. I'm sure that's going to go over well when people find out that Canadians are abusing the American border. And the reason I'm so frustrated is because all of this blowback is not going to get pushed back on the criminals. It's going to be the law-abiding citizens like myself who enjoy traveling down to the US, just want to have a normal trip. We're going to get hit with extra scrutiny and problems. Toronto man allegedly steals a sea-doo and illegally crosses Canada-US border. Okay, Toronto man, that's how you should definitely title this article. Let's get into the culprit here. A male party identified as Romeo Badrami. Yeah, another strong Toronto man crossing into the US illegally that Canadians are going to get blamed for. Awesome. Let's see if this keeps up at all. Almost 50 million in fun powder found hidden in trucks crossing into Canada from the US. To be fair, that's coming from the US. It is actually coming from Mexico, funny enough, which is why I said Trump's statement at the beginning, why both people are cracking down on the border. Let's see who was involved, shall we? Let's see some of the names attached to this group. You know, these foreign entrepreneurs who are getting attributed to being Canadian. We've got How Tommy Win, Arvinder Pawar, Gurtej Singh, Karamjeet Singh, Manpreet Singh, Sartaj Singh, Shiv Ankar Singh, something Tep, Sangajith Nagadajrath. Yep, strong Canadian names. These are the foreign entrepreneurs we want. I've actually talked about this case specifically on the channel before because it made me very mad because a ton of them were already out on bail, basically same day. Let's see if we can continue to notice any patterns here. Ontario trucker, okay, so we're calling him an Ontario trucker who hauled the cartel's fun powder to Canada, quietly pleads guilty in the US. The Indian national, okay, Ontario trucker, the Indian national was on a work permit in Canada, so not Canadian, not a PR. He was just on a work permit, which was why I freak out about those temporary foreign workers. This is a warning to the US. These guys will scam you. They will come through on the temporary foreign worker scams, and you are going to get criminals. That's what always comes through. The Indian national was a work permit in Canada when he started hauling loads of fun powder. Ayush Sharma, 25, was caught red-handed delivering 19 kilos of fun powder into a garage in Montreal. When the U.S. Department of Justice unveiled Operation Dead Hand in Los Angeles in January, there were 15 people named, 2 indictments, including 5 living in Canada. So, where are they from? Oh, Brampton based. Oh, what a surprise. Brampton. 5 people living in Canada. They're not Canadian. I'm so sick of them making us look bad on the world stage with all of this crime, and Canada is taking the blame. The US is getting mad at Canada. This is affecting our trade deals. This is affecting our economy. They shouldn't be here. They are destroying Canadian society and destroying our reputation with the US, especially when we get titles like this. Canadian police in British Columbia bust fun powder lab, seize chemicals and equipment. Oh, okay. It was the same area in BC where you coincidentally find all these foreign entrepreneurs who keep getting caught with all the fun powder. Wow. Well, here's one that just happened. A Caledon, Ontario man, so Caledon, I added Ontario, but Caledon is in Ontario, man charged after almost 25 million worth of suspected fun powder found hidden in truck at Canada-US border crossing. Let's see what we find when we check his name. I bet we'll be surprised. Onkar Kelsey, 29, of Caledon, was subsequently arrested and was transferred to the custody of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. Wow, another great foreign entrepreneur helping Canada out, helping us build our global reputation. Maybe we can find some more Canadians who are making diversity our strength. Aren't you happy, guys? These guys are really helping us build a strong nation. Well-known alleged Vancouver gang leader arrested in the US for a wide-scale fun powder bust. Let's see if we can check his name, because I do think all entrepreneurs deserve the credit that you are helping build Canada. Surrey gangster Opinder Singh Sian was at the center of the vast conspiracy to import precursor chemicals from China and export powders through the port of Los Angeles. Okay, well, thank you, Opinder Singh Sian. You're such a great, awesome contributor to Canadian society. Wow, another big case here. Indian origin man arrested in Canada's largest fun powder lab bust in Surrey. RCMP seizes massive haul of powders, guns, and explosives. An Indian origin man, Gaganpreet Singh Randhawa, another entrepreneur who's literally setting records in Canada for being our most impressive entrepreneur with the largest lab bust ever. Wow. Keep it up, guys. I'm actually so proud and happy that we have such strong ties in relationships with India that we're bringing over millions in the last 5 years. They never scam. They're always honest. They contribute positively to Canada. They are big on social cohesion when it comes to Canada. They don't have their own caste systems that are worse than anything we deal with here. They're actually perfect, amazing, and not causing trouble for Canada at all. They're not going to lead to more titles like this. Some Canadian permanent residents will have to post a US $15,000 visa bond just to enter the US. Here's what to know. Oh yeah, that was happening 20 years ago. That was happening 30 years ago. That was happening before when it was just Canadians crossing into the US. You know, there was certainly bonds required. Once again, this is due to the Trump administration showing Canada they have to take their border seriously. But I don't know why Trump would do that. Look at what you guys are missing out on. This is in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, which would basically be like, hey, we're in rural Kansas. Look at this very normal and expected sight for Canada. When you come to Canada, this is what everybody expects. Yep. If I was in rural Kansas and I saw this giant group of thousands of Indians walking down the street, I would not be scared. I would be very happy, and I would think this is exactly what you would expect to see in rural Kansas. But I've been told by the government and a bunch of left-wing media that these people have been in Canada the entire time. They actually built Canada. Turns out Canada never had Europeans at all. We've just had them, and this is normal and very cool. Those people are actually instrumental in the Liberals' new economic plan. We actually have a meme here shared by Table Salt on Twitter. We had two options. We have a prosperous free market U.S. ally where we build a strong relationship with the United States, or we could be Venezuela, and the Liberals are ripping down to Venezuela. Thank you, Table Salt. Keep up the good work. Here's a humorous story once again showing that Canada needs the United States and a prosperous relationship would be good. This isn't the funny story that I'm going to show you in a second. The other story made me laugh out loud. That's how crazy it was.
New concerns about Ontario's largest hospital construction project. We're learning the Ford government finalized a contract just last month, handing a $140 million project to a U.S.-owned firm amid a heated trade war.
Going forward, we have to rethink the way we procure in this country.
When first asked about the contract concerns by City News last month, the government said the procurement process to build a new 2.8 million square foot hospital in Mississauga started back in 2022, before the Trump administration took power. But City News has now learned the contracts in question were finalized in July.
It's so funny that the only thing that was cause for concern on why working with this US-owned firm is such a big deal is because of Donald Trump. Before that, it was fine. You know, there was nothing wrong with working with the US, but Donald Trump got in, and we specifically got to take Trump on because we know he's a huge problem. That's sarcasm if you guys aren't picking that up. Instead of building a relationship where we can work together, let's mount up patriots. But anyways, here is the video that I think in this 25-second clip does such a good example of where Canada is in the trade deal, where Canada is economically, where our social cohesion is, why Canada is in the position that it is now. This 25 seconds tells such a funny story. Let's get into it.
A brand new state-of-the-art MRI machine has just arrived at the Royal Victoria Regional Health Centre, ready to revolutionize patient care.
We're just taking the roof off it and putting it on the end of the trailer here.
This cutting-edge technology means faster, sharper scans and shorter wait times for patients right across the region. It arrives in pieces and will be assembled on site. The team expects it will be fully operational by mid to late October.
That is a news story about one single MRI machine being installed, talking about how it's revolutionary and cutting-edge technology. MRI machines are almost 50 years old at this point. Revolutionary, cutting-edge technology that is a classic example of the Canadian media gaslighting Canadians into thinking, look how good the government is doing. Look how impressive they are. We've got cutting-edge 50-year-old technology that Americans have access to pretty much everywhere. Oh yeah, they do have to pay $500 for an MRI, but if you wait 14 months, we will get you in there for free. As you can see, Donald Trump's tariff negotiations are forcing Canadians to take a look at our own problems. What's going on at the border? What needs to be changed? Are there security issues that we've not been addressing for years? Yes, absolutely. And again, surprisingly, it's related to mass immigration, but it is destroying Canada's reputation at the national stage. And the only one willing to actually address it is Donald Trump. And if this isn't fixed, I legitimately do think there could be bans placed on Canadians from going into the United States because of how the trust will deteriorate to that level. But anyways, made it this far in the video. Thank you so much for watching. You absolutely rock. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We're trying to get these videos out in front of more people, trying to grow the channel. If you want to support the channel, you can do that down below through YouTube. There's also a link down there. Thank you, and have a great rest of your day.